Let her rest in peace. I get this quite often. It's coming from somebody that maybe hasn't been following me for very long, and they just kind of get the surface level stories that I talk about. And we're talking about my wife, Amanda, who I was married to for 25 years. And she passed away 5 years ago from alcohol use disorder. And I tell a lot of stories, very in great detail of what happened the last 6, 7 years of her life and beyond that as well, and how it affected her and how it certainly affected our relationship and ultimately our family. And it was just a brutal ending, like all alcohol people who suffer from late stage alcoholics. There's no good ending with alcoholism. You're either going to survive it, you're going to get into recovery, or you're going to succumb from it. And the stories are important because, like a lot of people who pass away, some people, they donate their heart or their liver or their kidneys when they pass away, maybe their eyes. Amanda donated the story of her life so that this malady, this disease, has the ability to come out of the closet and be talked about and discussed. It's a way to expose and help thousands and then eventually millions of other families that are going through this, millions of other people who are suffering from alcohol use disorder, to recognize that they have a problem. It's to keep people who are in recovery to recognize that they want to stay in recovery, for alcoholics to realize that, yeah, they got a problem and they need to do about it before they go down the road that Amanda did. And for families to recognize that they're not alone, and what actions can they take and how can they participate in a better way to help their loved one who's suffering from alcohol use disorder. And for myself, just let her rest in peace is absolutely insulting, because it goes against the grain of everything I'm trying to accomplish and how we're trying to really honor Amanda through her life, and how it helps other people. And if she was sitting next to me, she would be very happy to realize that her life is helping other people. This is how we honor her. You have to realize we learn as a species from the mistakes of other people, or we learn from our own mistakes. That's how we grow. This is how we evolve as a species. If you just keep putting it in the closet and no one talks about it, well, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. Fundamental principle of understanding human behavior is we learn from the mistakes and the failures of other people. We learn far more from our failures of what not to do and what not to, and where not to go, and in this case, what not to consume. Understanding the reason why she was at a level of addiction that she was is also an important study. And the book goes through a lot of that. Her memoir, Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. She suffered from family culture. She had a hereditary issue. She had trauma in youth. And I'm sure she had a fair degree of peer pressure as a result of that. And she created a habit she was well underway probably by the time I met her. And unfortunately, it was something that she was never able to recover from, and it got progressively worse. And this is really one through 4 of the stages of alcohol use disorder, and it's an important study. So to answer your question, let her rest in peace. Well, she is at peace. She passed away 5 years ago, and fortunately, she's no longer suffering physically, emotionally, and psychologically. She really had very little quality of life near the end. And unfortunately, she was a mere shell of what she had once been. She was a very dynamic, loving, kind, intelligent person, and she could barely walk across the room near the end of her life for a lot of physical reasons. And it's unfortunate. You have to realize history. If we don't talk about the failures of other people and the successes of people, we're doomed to repeat the same process over and over again. And this is why it's an important story. So, no, I'm not going to just let it rest in peace. She's already at peace. We can only help the living. And her story is doing nothing but that. It's helping many, many other people. And really, the last thing I want to say, this whole notion of moving on or disparagement or talking about someone who can't defend themselves, this kind of mentality, which really has no place in what we're doing here. None of it is about disparaging. It's about dissecting a life and learning from it. As far as moving on, really Amanda's story has nothing to do with, certainly my current situation. I've long since moved on. My son has, and we have many interviews. If you're interested in my son's opinion, top of the page we have a file, interview with Griffin. So it's not about what's going on with our lives now. It's about helping other people from a pure standpoint. And I don't know how to say that in any other way. And again, really, the memoir that puts it all together is Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. It's an important story, in depth. Everything we've talked about here, you'll find in that book. Very helpful, and I want it to be the go-to book for the family perspective, and for everybody else that's involved. And again, I go live Monday through Friday right around 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern. I also have the coaching program. Again, link is in the bio. Set up a breakthrough call. Takes about 45 minutes or so. We do a deep dive into what's going on with you and your family. The alcoholic needs to be on the call. It's not a fact-finding mission, and it is a coaching program. The call is free. The course is definitely not. But I'm looking for people who want to change their lives and the lives of their family. And again, thanks so much for listening.